I've had a lot of thoughts on my mind this week. It's been a week, been a trying week in many different ways. I had a check that finally cashed after the third time since today. It took 3 times, 3 different times to get the check cashed, and this was for about 2 weeks later for 2 men. So it was quite a substantial check. Took 3 different times and several phone calls to get it to cash. And so needless to say, that was deep on our heart this week, and there's so many things. And we just ran, and we, everywhere you look this week, there's sickness. And I looked at the board Wednesday, and we was 25 last Sunday. The Sunday before that was 32. Sunday before that was over 40. And I ain't counted this morning, Sister Diane, how many we got?
We have
22 this morning. And it's gonna be this way throughout flu season, and then throughout decoration season. And so we've got about 2 months of this. And it's easily for me to get discouraged in this stretch here, Brother Keith, where the crowds seem to get smaller and smaller, and people's excuses,
Yeah.
they think they're reasons, but most of the time they're excuses. And I kind of chewed on Dakota this morning. He got the brunt of it this morning in there at our little Bible study. And this morning we read to him over in Luke about the pit and getting the ox off in the pit. And occasionally, ox gets off in there by themselves. And Cole, if you get the ox in the ditch, you better get him out. But don't push him in there on Sunday.
Right.
That's right.
Don't let him get in there on Saturday and wait till Sunday to try to get him out.
Right.
Sunday's God's day. Sunday is God's day. I spoke a little Wednesday about the passion that we had. Stanley completely failed the analogy.
Yeah.
Jens was here Wednesday. Leonard, you remember when you and Christy was first sparking? Newly married, and say you was laying on the couch watching a movie together, and she had her head on your arm, and your arm would be asleep, and you would let your hand turn blue before you even nudged her to wake her up. Why? Why? Because of the passion. You didn't want the moment to end.
Yeah.
Bobby, you remember that far back? Stanley said he couldn't remember it. Brother Keith, the passion of being a new Christian, a new child of God, the passion that you had.
Yeah.
You've heard me testify that I could go through the McDonald's drive-through, Cole, and say, I want a cheeseburger, and by the way, I got saved last Tuesday. The passion, the love. Of course, when you get to thinking about passion, where do you turn in the Bible? Song of Solomon.
Song of Solomon.
We're gonna read just a few verses, chapter 4. Don't wanna get too deep into it. Verse 1, behold, thou art fair, my love. Behold, thou art fair. Thou hast dove's eyes within locks of hair, as the flocks of goats that appeared from Mount Gilead. Thy teeth are like a flock of sheep that are shorn, which came up from the washing thereof. Every one bare twins, and none is barren among them. Thy lips are like a thread of scarlet, and thy speech is comely. Thy temples are like a piece of pomegranate within thy locks. Thy neck is like a tower of David, builded for an armory, wherein hang 1,000 bucklers, all shields of mighty men. Describing a pretty good looking woman there, I would say. Had all her teeth and everything. Wasn't a bearing spot between them. All toothy, as Andy Griffin says. Look at that smile, it's all toothy and everything, right? When he said the sheep, I was thinking, and this is where my mind goes something, I wonder if they all screamed at once. thousands of sheep screaming when she opened her mouth. That's what I thought. That's where my mind goes sometimes.
Oh my.
But he was describing a lovely sight. You remember how it feels when you're in good shape with God? Leonard, how pretty everyone was. Yeah. Even Bobby. When my heart's right with God, Rick, you're a prettier person. Inside and out. It is, that's the truth. Whenever I got saved, Keith, I seen a beautiful people around about me.
Yeah.
There was a passion there. In my heart was planted there. That passion give me love. Bobby talked about charity earlier, about how whenever we're got everything going our way, we don't get down in love. We don't look to God. We can't get deep like we need to because things are going good. When I come to church that night, I was broken. I was that broken person. And before I left, I seen the beauty of Christ. And it's not long till we start seeing the flaws again if we're not careful. Just like a new house. You can build a new house, Stanley, you can spend thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on it. Get moved in, everything's sparkly and shiny. It ain't long, Johnny, till you start seeing the cracks in the grout in the tile. That faucet in the back bathroom where nobody goes starts to drip. You not long till you start seeing the flaws. The honeymoon stage was over.
Yeah.
I use that a lot, honeymoon stage. Preachers have a honeymoon stage in a church. I feel like ours is come and gone. But you have a few months there to where everything is easier. And God gives you that.
Yeah.
Gives you that foundation. We all of us here that's married or have been married, we've had that honeymoon stage in our relationship. To where, Leonard, you would let your hand fall off to keep waking up that beautiful woman laying in the crease of your arm. Show's been off. It's playing something you don't even care to watch no more. She's asleep there in your arm, and your hand could fall off, and you wouldn't move because you don't want to spoil the moment. Been there. And occasionally I get to that spot again. Then I mess it up usually.
Move your hand.
I'll roll around the floor nowadays. She ain't gonna get on the couch with me anymore. Let's just get it there. We don't fit very good anymore.
Fit a little better. We do.
There ain't room.
We're gonna get an extra large.
Get hot. But we find excuses not to get on the couch. Oh, my back. I can just see it go up, be there 3 minutes, my back will start hurting. Hers will be her hip. Oh, my hip. Oh, my hip. You think she's 90. Oh, my hip. And I'm grunting and groaning with my back. Or we'll wait till we eat, Rick, and we're just too full. It's just easier to sit in our own recliners, holler at each other across the room. We probably eat supper in those recliners and got too full. And then as soon as we get done eating, even though we're too full, we'll go get a snack.
Just a little cookie.
Just little cookies and milk. We know today that once we get out of the honeymoon stage, it's easy to make excuses. And it ain't long until, Rick, whenever you holler at each other across the room, and you don't even think about the couch no more. Won't even sit there together, let alone cuddle. We won't even sit there together anymore. When Carla, we first got married, she loved me. She sat right beside me in the truck. And we met a young couple that we all know, if I told the name, this morning. They was in an old square body Chevrolet.
Couldn't even hardly see them.
She was sitting right beside him. And of course, they're both little people at this point in their life. So it just looked like one person sitting there. And I hope she watches this. And I thought, whenever we met them just, they just started down 43 and turned their pump, and I thought, they're going to Box League Church. I thought, they don't know how good they got it.
Yep.
And that old square body Chevrolet, Rick, sitting side by side. I mean, there wasn't no room for Jesus between them.
We're gonna have a talk about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to them about that. But Keith, that's the way Sister Carla and I used to say it. A lot of times we had the old 5-speed. She had to push the clutch, she'd work the gears, you know. We thought we was cool. But it wasn't long. Till we had a car seat between us. We only had a regular cab truck back then, Johnny. We had a car seat between us. Wasn't long till we had one sitting on Carla's lap and one in the car seat. And they said, oh, even when we was by ourselves, it just got to where it was, she went to her side and I went to mine. And I say all this, I love Sister Carlians, know we have a good relationship. There's times we can be mad at each other, but you better not say something about the other one to us, because only we can be mad at each other. But when you get out of the habit of riding together, Cole, whenever you're by yourself, we just jump in our own sides, you know. I tease her all the time. I say, you wanna ride over here by me? And she says, no, you need to pay attention to the road. That's what she said. Says, you don't love me no more. Today, we get out of the habit of sitting next to Christ. Do we not, Leonard? Used to get in that old Ford pickup, always drove a Ford, Rick, because that's what Dad drove, that's what Grandpa had. We all drove Fords. Not saying there ain't good Chevrolets out there, I ain't found one, not saying there ain't some out there. But Leonard, we get in that old Ford pickup and move side by side. When I first got saved, I went everywhere. Christ.
Yeah.
Made sure he was with me. Because there was passion there. Passion. Cody, I'd get started reading the Bible and I would look up and it would be midnight. Because there was a passion there. We've lost our passion.
Yep.
It's easy to stand and sing. It was easy, Rick, to stand and testify. Couldn't get up fast enough. But Leonard, just like any marriage, the longer we go, you have to work at it more to keep the passion. Me and Carl have been married, I don't know, 15 years. 15 years. Sister Sandy and I was gonna be real old man. We've been working on an old house we live in now. Leonard, I made arrangements with her mom to take the kids. They was young kids. So had her mom over there. I'd use a wheelbar and put almost 1,000 pounds of sand in our bedroom floor. And I had towels and Hawaiian drinks and I had the whole bed.
My goodness.
And you know what the first thing she said when she come in there cold? How am I gonna clean this up? I was trying to be
All the
romantic.
women in here is agreeing with
I was
me.
trying, I put a tarp down.
Oh.
I was trying to be
That's
romantic.
a little better.
I was working hard at it, Sister Diane. I planned it for weeks. I bought sand. So it was a lot of work.
It was, and it was very sweet, and I appreciated it. But it was hard to clean up.
But we forget to work at it. We do, even our marriages. We get in the habit of going to our own recliners, Rick, and we forget to work at it. We lose the passion. We forget, don't we, sister? Each one of us, I do. We have to work at it with Christ to keep the passion. You've seen preachers get up here and preach monotone and kind of like, what was his name, Ben Stein, that used to talk so monotone, and he would just talk on and on and on and on, and people would lose interest if it was him up here, and if I preached like that and just talked and never moved and just sat here, it wouldn't be long till Stanley would be. Rick? Wouldn't be long. But if I get up here and I speak with passion, I get your attention. If we show the world that we have passion for Christ, they're going to pay attention. It's easy to stay home on Sunday. It's easy to stay home on Wednesday. It's easier. I heard Brother Leonard, somebody talking, that, well, what if Dale didn't come, we just have to sing or something like that a while ago. But you don't worry about Dale not showing up, do you? If I don't, something happens, I always have been able to most of the time, have you a preacher in place. But I've been having an active heart attack and preaching up here. And when everybody leaves, I go to the hospital. From this pulpit.
Yeah.
But when the kid's got a runny nose, the whole family has to stay home and wipe it.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
When the kid's got a runny nose, Mommy and Daddy and all 16 children have to stay home and wipe it. Have to get ready. Super Bowl's coming. You go, oh boy.
Oh boy, everybody be sick.
Everybody, that's why I told her, I got to go down this, and I said, we got our children, our grandchildren that's watching, but how many's gonna miss Super Bowl Sunday because they've got ribs in the smoker?
Yeah.
Right. Fry them jokers after church. I'd rather have them fried or smoked or barbecued or anyway. You ever had fried pork ribs? Rick, you get it from ear to ear. Man, they're good, Stanley. Make your tongue slap your brains out trying to get to them. Today, we've got to have passion. We've got to show our kids, show our grandkids that we have passion for Christ instead of the things of the world. The devil will allow you to prosper. Why do you think we've had it so easy in America?
Yep.
The old devil is allowing it.
Yeah.
And as he allows America to prosper, we are slowly drifting away from God.
Yeah.
What's put slowly, it's now a snowball. And it's going down the hill really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're losing generations of people in the church. There's half a dozen people here under 50. Wow. We've got 2 couples under 40. It's scary. Bobby, your generations, your dad's generation said the same thing, but it continually is dwindling.
Yeah, it is.
Churches are starving for preachers and deacons.
Yeah.
There's not enough to go around. There's not enough young men stepping up. It's easy today. And we've been putting everything out on Facebook or YouTube for the last year and a half. I don't remember, 73 weeks, because I looked a while ago. The last 73 weeks we've been on YouTube. Or we got 73 videos on there. So probably years. But there's some that benefits from it. But are there some that's using that as a crutch to keep them coming to church?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that, Cole, because there's some using that as a crutch. Well, I won't go to church today, I'll go over here and cut the neighbor's grass. And, I'll watch it on the video here after a while. Well, I'm glad that the video's there, because there's some that can't get out.
Yeah.
I can watch basketball on the video.
Yeah.
I get on there, I'm not a big sports fan, if every ball in America went flat, it wouldn't affect my life any. But Dakota, I can watch basketball and get a little enjoyment out of it. Even get if I'm into the game, get my heart rate up a little bit. I might even sit up on the edge of the chair and holler.
Yeah.
But you know what? Cole, I never break a sweat. I never truly get involved.
Yeah.
Sitting and watching basketball on TV. But Leonard, if it'd be comical, but if we put us a basketball goal up out here, and in real life, we can play basketball. We can interact. We can be a part of a team. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Being part of a team and interacting than watching from a far distance. Think about it. It'd be pretty funny, Leonard, if they watched us and you play basketball. Probably. We'd need the oxygen tank at each end of the court. Lots of Band-Aids for our owies before we was done.
Dunk contest at 5 feet.
Dunk contest about it. You better put a ladder in there. Because my vertical ain't what it used to be. And I don't worry about the going up, it's the coming down that bothers me. I only plan to go up real high one more time. Let's go to Jesus.
That's
Because
right.
I won't have to come down on these old knees then. We must have passion, Cole. Passion. Some people have, I was a real good hunter. Still am at times. But Stanley, I had passion for what I was doing.
Yeah.
There's used to be some real good basketball players that's in this room. But at the time, you had passion for that game. We must have passion for Christ. We must get involved, Keith. You may have to get up here and sing a song one of these days. I always said you did when you was little. We must have passion, Johnny. We must put ourselves out there. You want to get an owie occasionally. We get out there and really play basketball, Leonard. My center of gravity's off from what it used to be. I'm sure I would fall in it. I'm sure, Cole, that I'd have some skin. All them blood thinners still, you get bumped, I'd be bruised head to toe if I really got in an old hardcore game of 21 like I used to. I ain't got enough wind. I just have to strap on one of them oxygen tanks.
Is that it?
Yeah. I look like a scuba diver after trying to throw a basketball. Today we must have passion. We know today that this old body ain't gonna make it.
Yeah. That's right.
No more than we fully mature, then we start going downhill.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. From the time we're
and
born. we get that way.
even when we fully mature, the stuff we did as adolescents starts catching up to us. Oh, you're probably fully mature. When I see you jump out of the back of the truck, it hurts my knees. Because one of these days, that's gonna hurt your knees. Even though it's easy now, don't bother you now, one of these days,
Right.
every time you hit the ground, it compresses that stuff. And eventually it quits springing back. So the things that we're doing now affects us later. Even as Christians, the things that we do now affect us later. The things we do as a young Christian. If we get in the habit, Rick, of studying, of having a good prayer life, and we have these habits that are good, Leonard, it helps us later. Because if we don't have these habits, if we get out of the habit of studying, we get out of the habit of praying, we get out of the habit of going to church, it's not long till it's easy to miss church. It's easy to go all week and not pray. It's easy to go weeks without reading the Word of God. Because we didn't build these fundamentals. And when our passion is lacking and we don't have the fundamentals, we're not a winning team, brother. You can take somebody that's not that good, Rick, and give them passion for the game, and they'll do all right. Remember the old movie Rudy? Little old guy, he wasn't 5'9", 5'7". And he got out there and he worked every day. And finally he got to start and got his name in the history books. But he didn't have no natural talent. All he had was a passion.
Yep.
Today, we go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. I'm just gonna read a couple, 3 verses. If you don't have to turn there, it's familiar. You probably can recite it better than I can say it, but 42. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption. It is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor. It is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in the power. It is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual body. There is a spiritual body, and there is a natural body, and there is a spiritual body.
Yeah.
Sown in our weakness, raised in power. Sometimes we gotta get weak, Bobby, before we're made strong. And we know only through the strength given to us of Jesus Christ. Read over in Acts where Peter reached down and pulled that old crippled man up. He went in the temple leaping and shouting. And they said, well, how was this man made strong? And Peter said, by the name of the one that you crucified.
Yep.
In the name of Jesus Christ was this crippled man made strong. It says the strong man wouldn't allow his house to be broken up if he knows the time that the thief was coming. And this is my word. You go back and put it in the King James. Cole, if you knew somebody was going to come to break up your house, you wouldn't allow it. You would stand in the gap. You would protect your family. Well, today, only the strong men are going to survive. Because, Leonard, you have to be strong. You have to have passion to fight for Christ. We can't do it in weakness. We have to be strong. In the name of Jesus Christ. By His blood are we saved, and only by His name can we be made strong, and only through Jesus Christ can we have the passion that we need, and only with the passion and the love and the blood can we make it to heaven.
Yep.
We must have Christ. We must have that relationship. We must be the bride. We must be adorned. We must be clean. We must be willing. That day, long time ago, when since Carla got married, they opened the back doors of that old Walsall church house. There she stood, Keith, and that old sun shining in around her, and I thought, prettiest thing I'd ever seen. Had her lips painted a real dark red. That dress, she barely fit into. Come a sashaying down the aisle. When I went to put the ring on Stanley, my fingers was shaking so bad I couldn't even hardly do it. You remember that part, don't you? Tried to repeat the vows and stepped on my tongue. And how beautiful. That's the way we should look to Christ. She had her fingernails all painted. Adorned.
Yeah.
Adorned. He come and found me tonight. Would he find me adorned? Would he find me clean? Would he find me prepared? Would he find me well? With passion. What about you tonight? What about you at home? Are you able to come to church? And you're watching this at your convenience. Where's the passion? There's a passion. We must be adorned, waiting for the bridegroom to come and take us home. One of these days, I'm gonna jump again, Cole. I'm gonna go straight up. One of these days, when that trumpet sounds, I'm going up. And I ain't gotta worry about them old knees when I come back down. Cause that's a lot of the reason I don't jump anymore, because my knees hurt when I hit the ground. No matter, I just don't jump. It's not pretty, everything bounces, and my knees hurt. But one of these days, I'm going straight up.
That's right.
If I'm found ready. Are you ready today? Are you adorned? Are you strong in the name of Jesus Christ? Let's all stand, all the same. We've got a verse of the song.